Commanders linebacker Sonny Styles joining us here after that was a hot one, man. I mean,
Yeah.
we're sweating. You got the towel right there. What kind of character does it build when you're practicing in weather like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just work. You got to come out here and work through it, grind through the heat, we had some long drives out there today, but it's just preparing us for the game.
Sonny, just the graduation from Ohio State to here, working with Matt Patricia last year, been a long-time defense coordinator in this league. Do you feel like there was any sort of indoctrination from that program to here, just preparing you for what you're going to see?
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State, we say developed here. They say it for a reason. I think they get guys ready for the NFL. When you come to this league, you're already professional, and you know what that looks like. And I think especially being with Coach Patricia, like you said, he was in the NFL for a long time. So a lot of the stuff, a lot of these
I didn't always understand what he was saying.
Yeah, a lot of these coordinators have similar mindsets with situations, things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they all have their own terminology, but I'm learning some of the same things I was already learning from Patricia. So he was such a great help. He did such a great job.
You talked about the long drives and me talking about the heat of practice. You're getting a little bit of double duty, though, right? You're working with the ones and with the twos. Is it a different role? When you're with the twos, are you a green dot guy versus when you're with the ones?
Yeah, it just depends who I'm out there with. I'm out there with Frankie. He might be the green dot guy. If I'm out there with Leo, I might do it. He might do it. It really doesn't matter. We've all done it throughout practice. It's kind of more so Mike and Will. But yeah, some 1 and 2 work. Getting out and playing a little bit of Mike, playing a little bit of Will, getting some extra reps. So it's going to get me in shape.
So the thing is, Sonny, like you're working with two veterans, and Frankie Luvu, who's just an electric athlete, right? And then Leo Chenal, who's just this big, strong, just stuffing everything out there. Like you're kind of working amongst a group right now that has a lot of versatility and experience.
Yeah, I got a lot of great guys in the room. They got a lot of knowledge. Leo's won a Super Bowl. Frankie's been doing it for such a long time. So I'm just trying to soak in all the information from both of those guys. They're really good players, and I'm just trying to pick up from everything they're giving me.
So I was talking to somebody here who said the other day we ran a perfectly executed hook and ladder on offense. It was great. It was ready. 6 points. He's gone to the end zone, except for one problem. 52 came flying across from the other side of the field to stop the play. You know exactly what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Take me through that play, and what did you see that allowed you to make that play? Because the point was your athleticism allowed you to get there way faster than the average player.
Yeah, it was just 3-by-1. They do a little stick route to the boundary. I'm on 3. He crosses my face. I see the ball thrown, and you see Terry catch it. As he catches it, you can kind of tell from his body demeanor he's about to toss it. So I'm just kind of running with my 3, just hustling to the ball.
I'm just watching Daronte Jones, who's a real disciple of Brian Flores, and the things that he did. So I knew this all was coming to the NFL, where you're walking up, a lot of blitz zero looks at the line of scrimmage, and then who's coming, who's bailing. Like, has this been fun? It looks like it's a fun defense.
Yeah,
to play.
super fun defense. We're aggressive. We like to play offense on defense, kind of determine the numbers.
Offense on defense. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, we like to determine the numbers. Kind of play. We're playing on our terms. I love that mindset, and I think the way he teaches it too. Like, it's so easy to digest the information. The way he's teaching the game, so much like this stuff is just super easy to understand. Sometimes you think we're giving all these different looks. You think it'd be confusing for us, but it's easy for us. So he's done a great job with that.
You know what helps dictate things? Pass rushers, defensive tackles. There was a need here. They addressed it this offseason. Who's impressed you in that group in front of you?
The whole front 7. They're awesome. You got Dafe, you got Casey, Kinlaw, everyone, Tim, Payne, all the guys, even Newton, everyone, Shy. Everyone in front of me, I feel like I'm clean all the time. I just get run-throughs because those guys are awesome. And we're dropping back into coverage on 3rd down. Those guys get the tee off on the O-line. Obviously we got a good O-line, so they're bad on the front, but those guys, we got hell of players in front of us, so excited to play behind them.
Yeah, I think that when you come into this league as a rookie, Sonny, the one thing that everybody has to learn and adapt to is just the passing game and what's going on behind you. Getting depth on your drops, but not being able to actually look to kind of feel it, feel those routes. Like, is that sort of the process that you're going through right now?
I think when I switched to linebacker, I could kind of feel routes a little bit, and as I got better and more time, I started feeling more and more. Honestly, now the biggest adjustment is like the ball's coming out so fast and so precise that you have to get there faster.
Okay.
Like you can't drop.
You gotta close that window.
And the guy's 5 yards away. You got 5 throwing the ball. Like, it's gonna be there now. So I think the timing and the accuracy on the throws. Like, I had to play the other day. I'm playing quarters. I get a spot route, and I think I'm about to go pick it off. And usually in college, the spot route, they'll throw it right here, and you pick it off. Jayden throws it low and away. So stuff like that, you just got to get there a little faster.
Love it. Baldy does the Baldy breakdowns. We got the Sonny, I go for the alliteration, but the Sonny summaries. There it is, right there. I did it. Thank you for your time. Baldy noticed that you didn't get the cart ride. I see QB1's coming up here in a short. I think he's probably going to get the cart ride up here.
Yeah, he
you had to
deserves
do
it.
the walk. But that's a rookie life. Next year, we expect the cart ride to come up to see us, all right?
Yeah, I got some fresh legs. I'll be all right.
Attaboy. Appreciate it. Sonny Styles. Here with one of the newest Washington Commanders. They sound like 5 guys today. So you're a veteran here.
Lucky me.
That
lucky
fast.
me. Lucky me.
Stefon Diggs joining me, Mike Garafolo, and Brian Baldinger. How's it been going, man?
It's been going great.
Yeah.
You know, it's only my second day. I can't speak too much, but I know the energy's there. Great team, great group of guys. They're all pushing in the right direction, I guess. And you know, I'm just happy to be here. I'm thankful. You know, gratitude eliminates entitlement. You know, being somewhere new, being home. It's just a different kind of energy, and I'm thankful.
His quarterback is pretty special.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Like, I'm sure you watched him, Stefon. I don't know if you've ever caught a pass from him someplace else in Pro Bowl or whatever, but I was just curious, like, what's that like, catching it, you know, for the first time? Is it a different type of ball? Is it does it matter to you?
It's definitely different. He can spin it.
Yeah.
100% he can spin it. He got those traits of a superstar in him, you know, and I don't want to speak too soon, but we've all seen it.
Yeah.
So the success that he has had and that moxie and that energy, I like it. I gravitate to that. I feed off of it. And it's just that balance of that receiver, quarterback, and then you got Scary Terry on the other side. You got some guys that can work the middle. It's a good tandem out there, and I just like the energy, and he's a hell of a player. Hell of a kid, too. You know, he's a grown man, but he's a hell of a kid. I've been in the league a little while now.
Yeah. How much do you know him before you got here?
A little bit, not too much. I was actually closer with CJ Stroud, and you know, CJ spoke highly of him as far as, you know, they knew each other, and they, you know, I kind of like did my homework on him a little bit, but he was a great kid. I only heard great things about him, and you know, I'm just lucky to be around him and blessed to be in the position I'm in.
I mean, Stefon, you're from Gaithersburg, Maryland. I just looked it up.
Well, people say that. That's what we wrote on where I went to school
what is
at. Because I was born actually in Virginia, you know, and I got family in DC, and I lived in PG County, I lived in Montgomery County. I went to school in Montgomery County, so that's what they put. But I'm just from Maryland, you know. I lived everywhere in Maryland. And I don't claim one spot, I just say Maryland. So.
But it is kind of a homecoming.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Parents are still here, you know, like that's gotta be fun.
It's a family here, and like not just that. I played Little League football here, so people from my childhood, people who watched me grow up as an adolescent and as a young kid, you know, growing into it, man. I'm just thankful to be in the position I'm now and come home. It's just like I try to keep a little distance though, just because like let me lock in, let me focus. I used to be in away, Buffalo, you know, Minnesota. That's a little ways away from home, so got that degree.
You came back from a torn ACL.
Yes, sir.
And put up a great year last year.
All right.
Great year. 1 year.
All right.
I saw a touchdown catch against the Houston Texans in a playoff game. Like, that's a great catch.
I could do better. I appreciate it, though.
All right.
You had a few options.
Yes, sir.
But this was number one for you right now. Why?
One, it was home. I liked something about the team. Just the energy, the coaches, and you know, DQ's a hell of a coach. Talked to AP. It just kind of, they were building something, and they had some success in the recent years. You know, they had some injuries last year, but I like going to be a part of something that's going in that right direction. Like, I had some other options to go some other places, but this made the most sense when you're going in the ways and the pros and cons and how I want my life to see, how I want my life to be built. You know, going into, you know, I'm 32 years old. You know, I'm on the back and I got more football behind me than in front of me, but I want to demonstrate I can hoop still. I can do everything I want to do out here. I could be a great receiver and be a good receiver for Jayden.
What do you like so far about this? It's 2 days.
Yeah, no, but I'm studying.
I'm sure you're digesting like crazy.
Studying every day, man.
But is there a lot of pre-snap motion that you're used to? Can they isolate you in the slot and put you in a stack and do all those things?
I try not to talk schematics too much, but I'll give you a little bit that I do know. In the 2 days that I've been here, they can mix it up. You know, they moving guys around. You know, just like certain offenses that I've been in, and I think they've watched a little bit of a tape of things that I've done well, and you know, things that we can build off of. So I'm excited. You know, when you go in to get a guy or a guy's about to sign, you know they do their homework, watch their target tape, watch the things that they've done, and they've done a great job.
From an artist standpoint, not everybody's a great route runner.
Yes, sir.
But you're a router. You take a great deal of pride in it. What makes somebody a great route runner?
For me personally, I would say it's not all about speed. You got to run with a pace. You got to have good breaks and good hands. You know what I'm saying? But at the line of scrimmage, you can win. But I'm more so when the plays get going. That's where I work my craft. That's where I work tempo. It's a lot of things that go in there. One day when I have some adolescents, when my kids grow up a little bit, I'm gonna teach them how to run routes a little bit. But for me, it's more so pace, being able to control the DB, because a lot of the time DBs are just as fast, just as quick. It's all about knowing where you're going and how you're gonna get there.
Can I just give you one little thing to add to that?
Go ahead, let me know.
Like, can you change directions
Immediately.
without losing speed?
100%.
That's, to me, is a real key.
In and out of breaks. I mean, I've had Keenan McCardell.
Yeah.
I've had those guys that been route runners in the league for he played like 15 years in the league, so he was doing something right. I had him in college, and he kind of raised me when I was becoming a decent receiver. So at this point, I'll just work my best to try to become exceptional. In and out of breaks, you got to be in and out of your breaks. If you're not in and out of your breaks, you got to be a possession guy, and I never want to be that.
No, and you're still not.
No.
You said last year, coming off the ACL, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah,
We're telling you it was better than decent, better than okay. I understand where you're coming from.
Appreciate it.
But how do you feel now 1 more year removed?
It's crazy because if you look at the analytics, you know it's 14 months after ACL. And me, like last year, where I say it was an okay year production-wise, I only played 52% of the snaps. And that was my first time ever doing that. And it was just schematics and how they did on offense. And I love the offense. McDaniels is excuse my language, McDaniels is a genius. And I speak so highly of him. I love him over there.
Yeah.
He taught me a lot. He taught me a lot about offense and, how to get open, and the guys that were there before me, shout out to, JM. But for me, I just feel like where I am now and what I've learned, it's going to help me in the future.
Love it, man. You're working your way through that draft with all these guys that were drafted one after the other here.
Yes, sir.
Now, what do you think of the mismatched cleats, by the way? Jayden Daniels over there.
He's just showing me a little swag, man. I kind of like it, but I don't know, man.
You do like it, right?
I do like it, but don't tell him.
You can't,
don't tell him.
but you got to be able to pull that off.
Don't give him too much.
I'm going to
Don't
remind
give
him here,
too much.
Stefon, that you ain't no possession receiver.
Never. Let him know. Hey, just keep that book in his ear, all right? Keep that book in his ear, all right? Appreciate y'all having me on, man.
We appreciate you.
Thanks, buddy.
Hope to have you playing this year, all right?
Pleasure, man.
I appreciate it.
Hey,
Thanks, man.
thanks.
Appreciate it.